So the email alerting system. To access the email alerting system, you're going to right click on any instance that you have and go to Configure Email Alerting System. It will pull up this dialog box and it shows you the 9 alert types that we currently have running. Or these are the alert types that are shipped with our first version. The alert ID is a predetermined alert ID that we've given to these ones. The alert type is a short description. Alert running shows an X or a check. The X indicates that it's not currently running, meaning that it will never be alerted on. And if it's checked, that means it is currently running. It's going into the background job. It's being ran every minute. And if it ever does hit, then it will send the email alert. The alert description is a longer description that that shows what the alert is doing in the background and what it's checking for. And then we have the configure button, which you use. So let's do the CPU usage. This brings up a new dialog box, and this is how you configure the alert. So as I said before, the alert ID is a predetermined number that is not editable. The time between checks is how often you want the T-SQL for this alert to be ran. So the background job runs every minute, but if I wanted the CPU usage to be checked every 5 minutes, I would set it to 5, or if I want it to be checked every 30 minutes, change it to 30. So that's one of the configuration values that you can change.
Hey, just a question on that, Mitchell.
Yep.
On the alert interval, I mean, these alerts, they all run pretty quick, right? I mean, none of them are going to put much load on the system. So running them frequently should not ever be a problem, should it?
No. It's just a matter of how often you determine it to be necessary to be ran. All the alerts are very lightweight. They should not cause any slowdown at all.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep. The time between alerts is how often the email actually gets sent. So if I have this set to be checked every 5 minutes and it gets triggered and it stays triggered for an hour, this will alert every 10 minutes throughout that hour. So it'll send me 6 emails instead of 12 throughout the hour if I set that to 5. So the time between alerts cannot be set lower than the time between checks. We have made this so that you can't actually enable the alert if you do try and set the time between alerts lower than the time between checks. It'll help walk you through the process if you ever try and do something that it won't like.
Okay, so let's say we have the time between checks set at 5 and the time between alerts set to 30. Then that would mean that if we are in an alert state, I will get an email every 30 minutes just reminding me that, hey, it's still in an alert state, right?
Correct.
Okay, what happens, and on this one we're looking at CPU usage, what happens if the CPU usage changes in that period? Do we get any alert that it changed, or is it just simply the every 30-minute alert?
Yeah, so the threshold for the CPU usage right now is anything greater than 80%. So if my CPU is cranking at 80% or higher, it's going to alert. So the first time it alerts is as soon as it goes over that threshold. Because it's checking every 5 minutes, if that threshold changes, either goes above what it was, if it was at 81% and it goes to 85%, it's going to send another email. It won't wait for the 30 minutes. It will send another email saying that the threshold has changed and it's gone higher or lower, whatever it has gone. If the threshold stays the same, it'll wait for that 30 minutes. But if the threshold keeps creeping up, if it keeps creeping up or down, it will keep sending emails saying like, hey, this is going up. This keeps going up. You need to look at this.
Well, yeah, that's great, because if I get an alert that says it's at 99%, and then 5 minutes later it says it's at 92%, and then 5 minutes after that it says it's 85%, well, I know things are improving at that point, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then it will also send an alert, since it's checking every 5 minutes. If it goes back down below 80, it will send the alert if the CPU usage goes down below 80.
The all
and
clear
it will
event.
stop. Yep, it will send an all clear email, and it will stop the alerting at that point.
Okay.
So that goes into the threshold greater than. These two determine when the email alert is sent. Pretty much every single alert can be set with a threshold greater than and or a threshold less than. So if you know that your normal operating range of CPU is somewhere between 30 to 60%, you can set this to notify you when your CPU usage goes above 70% or less than 20%, and will send you an email alert whether it goes above or below at that point.
Okay, great.
And then the next is the email addresses. This is, you can add as many email addresses as you want. Just simply type in your email at fake email and just keep adding them. You can add as many here as you determine. And at that point, once you're ready to enable it, you just hit enable alert and you're all done. And now this one is running. So that's the configuration for these. The only difference, some of them have these chosen period of time keywords in them. So for login attempts, we'll look at that. This alert actually needs to look back a set amount of minutes. So for login attempts, if I wanted to know how many, or if I wanted to get an email alert if there have been more than 4 failed login attempts over the past 30 minutes, that's where I set this configuration value. So the alert needs to look back 30 minutes to determine how many login attempts have failed. So this will reach into your error log and look for the specific login failures.
Okay, so then for this one to work, since you're looking at the error log, we would need to make sure that the SQL Server setting for logging failed logins is actually turned on.
Correct.
Yep. Okay, got it.
Yep. And then same thing, you can set any email addresses that you want to send to, and then simply enable it. If you do, like I said, the dialog walks you through. So if I tried to enable this alert with an invalid number of minutes, it will tell you that you need to change that before actually enabling it.
One more question. If we go back to that dialog, just before we move on to other areas here. I know the first time you run this dialog looks a little bit different. I know we're not seeing that here, but can you describe like what you have to do with the email profile to begin with?
So I think we have one or two that is not configured yet.
Oh, one of the other instances. Yeah.
Yeah, let me look. There we go. So the first time that this is not actually the first one that you might be seeing, the first time that you open it, if you haven't configured a SQL email profile or an email server profile, it's going to prompt you to go and create one. And you need to go into SQL Server Management Studio and create that emailing profiler. We do have a video. There will be a link to the video on how to set that up in this dialog. So if you need help walking through that, once you do have the email profile configured, you can open this back up and you're prompted to select the email profile that you want to use at that point to send the emails. Once you do that, it will build out the list for you. And at that point, you're ready to go.
Okay, great. I know that's one of the things that with a lot of email tools in SQL Server, they don't always do a great job of walking you through the process. And I think what we've got there does that pretty well.
Yeah. The other thing that we've added is a new instance report, which is the email alert log. And this will show a history of all the alerts that have been triggered. So here are a bunch of alerts on my instance that have been triggered. This alert log shows every single time the alert was hit. So for the disk space warning, it was checking every couple of minutes and it logged some hits between the 10th and the 11th. And these are all recorded, so you can go through and read the warning messages, the alert ID, the tag that was set for it. So these are my D drives. And you can read all the information that was ever logged by the system at that point. With that, it also goes with the alert statuses. This is when an alert has been triggered. It will show you the status and the last warning message. It's similar to the log, but it doesn't show every single warning message through here. It just shows it per the combination of alert ID and tag.
If we were at low disk space somewhere right now, you'd see a not okay there or something, right?
Yeah, the alert status would be red. It would say alerting, and you would know that it would be trying to send emails at that point.
Yep. Okay.
And then you can also reach the configuration through this instance report as well.
Okay, so if somebody's watching this and they don't see any of these alert links in here, and there may be haven't updated to the latest version of Database Health Monitor, I think what we need to tell people is that you need to upgrade to the latest version. Currently, that's 11.18 in order to get all of these features. And this will continue to evolve over time with more alerts and things like that. But if you're running older versions, all of these features are not there. So
upgrade to version 11.18, now available on stedmansolutions.com to get all of these new features, and keep an eye out for the new features that we're looking to add in the coming months.
Thanks for watching. I'm Steve, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like it, please click the thumbs up icon. And if you want to subscribe, click subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to get notified when we have new videos. All right, have a great day.